How is this crisis a failure, Lindsay, of the past 30 years?
Well, we've seen time and time again this finger pointing and scoring of political points, fear-mongering really from the anti-immigrant side. And the thing is with these deterrence policies that we're seeing right now, no one is ever going to convince fear-mongering anti-immigrant forces that this is, somehow that our borders have been secured in the way that they are going to be satisfied with. And so heaping cruelty on human beings seeking safety, when, asylum seekers, by the very nature of what they're doing, are trying to avail themselves of the legal pathway. They're trying to enter themselves into a system. They're literally raising their hands at the border right now and saying, I'm asking to be processed. I'm asking for protection. I'm asking to do this legally. And what we see time and time again is a system that is set up with obstacles, whether it's the CBP1 app, whether it is, trapping people in between border walls, as we saw in San Diego this week, and I saw personally yesterday. This type of treatment that is meant to make it impossible for people to actually get protection, none of this is ever going to, satisfy the anti-immigrant side.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, just to underline what Lindsay's saying there, I think Joe Biden could go down to the border, build a wall himself with his own bare hands, and even then, you would not have Republicans and nativists say, like, okay, job done, we did it, right? For them, they are insatiable on this issue. So I am unclear from a political calculus standpoint what the true value is to some Democrats of not offering an alternative vision of what immigration, asylum, and our border could look like.
You're exactly right. What we have one side doing is fear-mongering, as Lindsay mentioned, and the other side is viewing immigration as their Achilles heel. So they'll either remain radio silent or feel like they can, put out a message of don't come to the border, or we're sending troops to the border to secure it, in a military fashion. And that's where I just think that even in the lead up to the ending of Title 42, we got a glimpse of the dynamics, right? Title 42 has ended, and there was not absolute chaos at the border. It was not overrun. But that's not to say that there isn't a crisis. There's a crisis when a baby is put in a suitcase to avoid drowning crossing the border. There's a crisis when we have those 10 million jobs that are unfilled and we don't have the tax base to keep Social Security and Medicare afloat in the long term. There's a crisis when average families fear that they can't put food on the table because of inflation that is driven by immigration. You have Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell saying that immigration is the greatest threat when it comes to inflation. The crisis is we need an orderly system of immigration, and we don't have the political will, even coming from the White House, to figure out what we do that's both right and smart. And so I think that's where there's an opportunity for the administration to say, look, the slow burning crisis here is that with the lowest birth rate since the census has tracked this issue, if we don't want to become Japan and the stagnation, if we want to compete against China, we have to recognize that there is a benefit that people will literally risk their lives to still come to our country. And so creating orderly pathways, legal pathways, allows for most people to come that route rather than the southern border, but also recognize that there are asylum seekers who are exercising a legal right, who are risking their lives, that are coming for their children to seek a better life, that need to have that opportunity to exercise it at the southern border.